Hi, I'm Daniela. I'm a marketer and I also use Looker Studio every day. So I'm going to show you how to connect Facebook ads to Looker Studio, and I'm going to teach you three different alternatives so you can choose which one is the best for your use case. The first option, and the best for me, is connecting Looker Studio to Facebook ads directly using a third-party connector like Photometrics or Funnel.io. This will allow you to import historical data without doing any additional configurations and also visualizing metrics and dimensions such as ad images, campaign metrics, and specific custom conversions you have on your ads. This is the fastest and scalable way to do it. So, this is my first alternative. Then, you can import automatically your data to Google Sheets and then connecting that Google Sheets with Looker Studio. You will achieve this using a Google Sheets extension. For instance, Porter Metrics has one, but you can use different extensions that are in the market. So you can choose anyone you like. And the third option is doing the process manually, downloading your Facebook ads data and then connecting that directly to Looker Studio through a CSV, or importing that file into Google Sheets and then integrating that Google Sheets to Looker Studio. Boring, time consuming, and not recommended, but actually people do it like that because it's free, but it's not the best option. So let's go with the first alternative. I'm going to show you the step by step on how to do it. Okay, let's see the step-by-step process of connecting Facebook ads directly to Looker Studio using a third-party connector. First, you have to go to lookerstudio.google.com and click on the left corner, the button that says Create, and then select Report. You will see something like this. I have a tip. If you already have a report and you want to add an additional data source, just click Add Data and you will see the same page as I have here on this example. So when you're here, please type on the search bar Facebook ads, and you will find different third-party connectors such as Supermetrics or Funnel. We will be working with Photometrics that will allow you to put all your historical data from 1 or 2 years, and also will allow you to see ad images, campaign metrics, and custom conversions. So after clicking here, you will see that this will take a few seconds to load, and you will have to authorize Looker Studio, and then you will have to authorize Photometrics. When you authorize Photometrics, this will redirect you directly to Facebook ads, okay? Because we need to get access to the Facebook profile that is related to Facebook. My recommendation here, when you see this screen, is to opt in to all current and future businesses. Because if you add a new Facebook ads account, you want it to be refreshed automatically and not go through this process again into Looker Studio. So select this option and then click Continue. You will see this and click Save so you can confirm you are giving all the access required. This is a standard, and any third-party connector needs to access your data to be able to send the data to Looker Studio. So click Save, and here a pro tip for you. If you want to change the profile you can click here on the drop down and select another account, because this will redirect you directly to Facebook ads. And if you are already logged in, it will send you directly to that profile. So if you want to change it, you can click the drop down and change it. Then click on Got It, and this will redirect you to the Porter Metrics authorization tab, where you will see that your authorization is working because it's green. If I don't know, if you see it red, this means that you have to reauthorize the permissions, mainly for security reasons, each 6 months approximately. So when you arrive here, please click on Next, and then this will ask you, if this is your first time using Porter, it will ask you to choose an email you want to connect your Porter Metrics profile with a specific email. So choose the one you are using for Looker Studio to avoid any, I don't know, interruptions or problems. So in this case, I'm selecting Daniela at portermetrics.com, and then I will see this tab where it's basically a confirmation. You have to close it, and this will redirect you to Looker Studio. Once here, you just need to select your ad account and confirm a basic settings that Facebook needs to understand which type of data you want to import. So first, select your ad account. In this case, I'm selecting this one. And this is the one I'm going to send to my Looker Studio report. Then you have to check all these boxes so you don't have, I don't know, problems having with the configurations. And also, please select the conversion window and the report time of action stats. This should be the same you have in your Facebook ads platform. So in this case, I'm using the default and the recommended options that are 7-day click plus 1-day view. and on conversion date for conversions. So after you have done all of these checkboxes and selected the default options or the custom options you have in your Facebook ads configuration, just click add here on the right corner, and then you will see something like this. This will ask you to allow parameter sharing, just click allow and then click add to report. If it's your first time and you're starting from scratch, this will come with this template that has different examples of how you can visualize your conversion, campaigns data, creatives, etc. You can copy it if it didn't appear for you, so you can do it on parametrics/templates. Okay, so we are going to navigate this and I will show you how you can customize and edit your report. Or if it's just a blank page, I will show you how you can add metrics and dimensions to your report so you can visualize your Facebook ads data. If you have a template to start with, like this one I have here, that's cool, but you have to learn how to actually add your own charts and graphs or how to edit them. And that's what I'm going to teach you here very fast. So to add a new page, I'm going to click here on page and I'm going to click on this button that says add a page. Now that I have a new page and you can see it in this canvas, I'm going to rename it and I'm going to name it Facebook Ads Tutorial. And you can see this here on the menu right now, right? I can change also the icon. For instance, I can add this check here and now you see the new menu tab here. So let's add our first chart. What I'm going to do is I want to see in a table my ad creatives and I want to see the performance of each of them. So I'm going to use a table because with tables you can see images and that's very useful. So here I'm going to add the table and this randomly assigns some dimensions and metrics. If you want to see all your data, metrics and dimensions, just click here on the right panel where it says data and this column will appear. So here I'm going to add to this table the add image field, and this is going to show me all my creatives. That's very useful because now you have like the thumbnail of the actual ad. Now let's add some specific metrics such as CTR, link click through rate, and let's add link clicks. If you click here, you can see that basically you can add any metric or any dimension. If you want to search to a specific metric or dimension, such as, for instance, custom conversions, you can type here custom, for instance. And now you will see here all the custom fields you have. For instance, we have custom conversions that are called template downloads. If I add this here, just drag and drop the metric you want to add or the dimension, you will see that it will appear here on your report. Here, I don't see any template download. That makes sense because the ads are not for template downloads, but you can add your own custom metrics and dimension. That's very useful. I'm going to delete this so it's not causing any interruption here. So I'm going to add impressions, CPM, CPC. Remember to select cost per link click if you want only the link clicks to your web page. So now we have impressions. I'm going to reorder this, CPM, link clicks, and CPC. We have this on our table. This is loading the data. Okay, now we see it here, but let's give this table a little bit of personality. So I'm going to click on style. I'm going to close the data tab so I can see the report bigger. And you can also zoom in or zoom out as you like. Now, here, I want the header to be a little bit bigger so I can read it better. I'm going to add 20 as my number for this table, and I'm going to click wrap text. This will allow me to basically read all the headers without having to fix the table. Now, I want to organize the table. I'm going to click right, and then select here, resize column, and distribute evenly. And now this is looking more easy to read, right? So here on the table labels, I'm going to also change the size of the typography so we can read this better. 16, no, 18. Okay, now you can read this easily. And also we have like a header that's more easy to understand. But you can also change this. Basically, you can change everything. Always assume with Looker Studio that you can change everything and then search on the tab of style or setup on how to change it. But basically, you can change everything. So here I can change the header font color. I'm going to use a white color so it's better contrast. And now here you can customize basically everything, the metrics, the dimensions, the numbers. So now we have this table. I want to change the table for a different one. So we can have like bar charts inside of our table. So I'm going to switch just by clicking here where it says chart. And then I'm going to click here table with bars. This is going to change basically the layout of the table, and it's going to add bar charts that we can customize on the style tab. So I'm going to click here. Okay, now we have all the metrics basically with bar charts, but we can't know the specific number. So let's fix that. Go to style, as I told you before, everything is on setup or style. So when you click here, let's go to the section that's editing the metrics and dimensions. Here you can see that we have metrics, right? And then we have metric one, metric two, and so on. So here I'm going to click on show number for each one of them. Why? Because that's going to do this on the table. Now we can see the numbers in the actual table. So let's do that for each metric on our table. Awesome. Now you can see that each metric has its own number inside of the table. Now, if I want to add, for instance, a goal, how would it look like? How would it be? So here in the metrics, you can add targets. So let's add a CPC target, for instance. So I'm going to go to the last metric, that would be CPC, and let's click on show target. Here, I'm adding a target to that specific metric, but this is asking me like, okay, what's the target value for you? So I'm going to say it's going to be like 0.10 cents. And look, this added a black line to my chart. So basically I can change the color. I don't know, I can add a purple, for instance, and I can change also the letter and how it looks like in the actual table. But you can see here that you have this that is telling us like the ranges, and you have the line that will show you like the target value we want, right? And how are we performing. So in this case, I will have these two ads with a higher cost than this one. So this is performing better in terms of cost per click, but that actually doesn't say anything if that link click is not valuable in terms of conversions or my specific goal. So, well, now you know how to edit any chart. Now I want to show you a specific example just by adding a scorecard and understanding how you can add a target to a scorecard. Because with this, you basically can create anything because you know the basics. So here, let's add the metric amount spent. We're going to answer the question of how many of the how much of the budget have we spent already, right? So we have amount spent as our metric, and then here we are going to customize this so we can add a specific target value. So here you have the amount spent, and that's okay. Now here you have other comparison options here. So I'm going to select value, and in value I'm going to type a target value for my spend. So I'm going to add $800, and then I'm going to click here on show as progress. When I click that, now I will see like the target value I have and the progress I have made towards that specific goal, so to speak. If you see this, actually it shouldn't be in red because you have more budget to spend, right? So I'm going to click on style and I'm going to change the value. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to change the red to green and the green to red. So now we are on green because we have more budget to spend. So we are right on track. And then if, I don't know, I reach the limits, it's going to turn red. So that's very cool because you can see the progress in terms of percentage. That would be 52%. And then you can see it visually here, right here. So basically, if you apply these principles, you can add any chart to your Looker Studio report. And let's see some examples. For instance, here you have like a table with the add creative and also the add primary text. Remember, you can see all the dimensions and metrics right here on the right side of your report when you click data, and you can like read basically what you can add to your report. But I recommend you to ask the questions first and then search for the metrics. That's the best way to do it. Then let's see, I don't know, this peak hours table that's very useful, where you have the hourly stats and then the day of week as column dimension, and link clicks as our metric that will tell us which day of the week and which hour is the one that it's generating the most traffic for us. For instance, you can see also audience insights, like which platform they were in when they clicked your report, your ad, what device are they using, what's the demographic information like age or country. Also, you have like you can create like a funnel view, and this is very cool. Okay, I click e-commerce, but you could have like a funnel view like this one, and these basically are just scorecards with style. So you can change the color and you can change the size so it looks like a funnel, but the principles are the same. So basically, now is your turn to ask the right questions and then translate that into charts. But now you know how to do it. So let's go to the second way to connect your Facebook ads data to Looker Studio. That will be with Sheets, and with that Sheets, we are going to integrate the data to Looker Studio. We will see the step-by-step process on how to import data from Facebook ads to Google Sheets and update it automatically, so you don't have to waste time with manual data downloading and then exporting that and wasting a lot of valuable time just into importing and exporting data. So you have to open a sheet, and in the menu you have to click extensions, because we will have to install an extension that will help us import the data automatically and access the data directly from the API. So please click extensions, and here select add-ons and then click on get add-ons. That's the first step. We will be redirected to the Google Workspace Marketplace. Here you will find hundreds of extensions that will help you do different things. We are just selecting the Porter Metrics extension that will allow us to import data from different marketing data sources to Google Sheets directly and allow the platform to refresh the data automatically in that Google Sheet, so we don't have to do any manual work. So you have to know that you have different alternatives. This is not the only extension, but actually is the one I'm recommending to you, because I know the extension, it loads fast, it brings you all the important fields you need, including custom conversions, images, and also allows you to integrate with tools like Looker Studio. So if you already are using Porter, you don't have to authorize your Facebook ads or any other platform you have integrated with Porter again. So here, please click on the Porter Metrics extension and click on install. Then you will have to choose which Gmail are you going to integrate with Porter Metrics, so it can add the data to your Google Sheets, to any Google Sheets you select. So basically, here select the email you want to integrate and then allow all the permissions. Every extension needs permissions to access to your data, and then pull that data and paste it into a Google Sheets worksheet. So basically, this is very standard, allowed all the permissions so you can use it. Then the process is complete. Now, to use the extension, you have to go to extensions again here on the menu, and now select the extension you just installed. So click launch to open the extension. When you open Porter Metrics, you will see all the integration Porter Metric has. It has paid media integrations, Google integrations, e-commerce, social media, and so on. So use the ones that fits your marketing data stack. So basically, now we are going to be working with Facebook ads. I'm going to create a new query, so I'm going to click here on new query. If it's your first time, you will be redirected directly to Facebook, to your Facebook profile. If you have your Facebook profile open, it will redirect you to that specific Facebook profile and will ask you for permissions. If you don't have Facebook profile open, it will ask you to log in. Okay, so please just when you get to this screen, that is where it starts to ask you all the permissions. Just click opt in to all current and future businesses, so you avoid having to reauthorize this on the future to add a new account, and then authorize Porter Metrics to pull your Facebook data. It's just like clicking continue, and then this will redirect you to your Google Sheets page. So basically, when you're here, the first step is just giving your query a name. I'm just adding the name here, and it's Facebook ads campaign. Very creative, I know, but it works for the example. So basically, after you do that, you will have to select the profile that you want to use. You can have multiple profiles, so you can choose which profile and which account you want to use. Here, I just have one profile, and I'm going to select the Porter Metrics account. So I type here Porter Metrics or Porter, and I will select this specific account. That means that I'm just going to export or import data from this account into my Google Sheets, okay? So after you do that, let's see the settings. These are the settings by default that are 7-day click plus 1-day view, and for the report time of action stats is on conversion date. That is the recommended option. But if you have some custom conversion windows, just change it here and then continue. We have to say to the platform which date range we want for our data to be imported. So basically, you could select, I don't know, last 30 days, and that will be like the data it will be imported. In my case, I want to select a custom date. So in the calendar, I selected from which date to which date I wanted the report to add the data in that date range. Okay. So you can use a custom date range, or you can select one of the options you will see on this dropdown. After doing that, we have done like 70% of the process. So basically, now you have to select only the metrics and dimensions you want to add to your report. That those are the fields or the data you are going to see here on your table. So the metrics are all the quantitative measurements like comments quantity, shares, page views. Those are metrics because they are quantitative. Quantitative. They can be measured. And dimensions are all the attributes of any field that you have. For instance, date would be a dimension, post type, images are dimensions too because they categorize and segment data for analysis. So let's see an example. Here, I'm going to add the metrics. As you saw here, is just clicking, searching which metrics you want, and then repeating the same process. For dimensions, here, I selected metrics such as clicks, unique website custom conversions, CPC, CPM, impressions. And for dimensions, I selected date, campaign name, and add image URL so we can see the actual creatives. So continue and click on create report. Here it will ask you to reorganize your fields so they are imported in a specific order. In this case, the first field you will see will be date, then campaign name, and then add image URL. So basically, that's the process. Now you have an automated report on Google Sheets pulled directly from your Facebook ads data. So you have the first query, and that's great. But now let's schedule an automatically refresh of your data so you don't have to repeat this process manually. After you create your query, it will be automatically saved in the extension. So you can see all the historical imports you have ever made and you can edit them. To edit them, please click on the arrow next to the name of the query, such as you can see here in this example, and you will have 5 different features you can use for that specific query. You can refresh all the data again. You can schedule a query frequency so that the data is refreshed based on a frequency you select. You can rename the query, you can duplicate the query, or you can delete it. So let's see how you can schedule a query to import your data automatically in the future. So here you will need a refresh interval, and this is very important because this will define the frequency your data will be updated. If you select daily, every day your data will be imported to the sheet. And that data can be imported as a preview, replacing the previous import, or just adding new data to that existing sheet, or creating a new sheet for every refresh of that report. So basically, here I will select a daily refresh interval. So my data will be updated daily into this report. And I will select a scheduled start time on April 23 at 12 p.m. So that means that's the first import that's going to run automatically. This is when it will start, basically. Then you have 3 alternatives you have to choose. One, to say to the extension how you want your data to be imported into Google Sheets. Basically, you can replace the whole previous import, so meaning that you will delete the previous table and add the new one with the new import. You can append the data to the previous import, meaning that you will add new rows, basically, with the data that's new, and you can create a new sheet for every refresh. Basically, the default option and the one I recommend is to basically append the data to the previous import, so you have the historical data you imported and you add the new data as new rows in your report. So after you selected all the different fields, please click on schedule a query, and then you will see a green calendar like this one next to your query, which means your schedule is working and is active. So basically, this is it. You have imported your data successfully and also scheduled a refresh interval so your reports are always updated. Now let's see how to add the Google Sheets data to Looker Studio. Go to Looker Studio in an existing or a new report and click on Add Data. Then you will find different data sources and you will select the Google Sheets data source. Then it will give you all your spreadsheets and all your worksheets within that specific spreadsheet. the name of my spreadsheet was Facebook Ads Report, so I know this is the one that I want to use. And then within that spreadsheet, I have two worksheets, but the one with the data I want to connect here into my Looker Studio report is the one that's named Facebook Ads Campaign. That was the name of the query I made, right? So select the Facebook Ads report and the Facebook Ads campaign, and then just click on Add, and that's it. You now have your Google Sheets data directly into Looker Studio. Remember that if you add new fields into Looker Studio, into Google Sheets, they will be updated into Looker Studio. So basically, when the data is refreshed automatically, you will see that data here in Looker Studio too. Remember that the structure to connecting a Google Sheet to Looker Studio is just having the data in columns with different names as the import we previously did. So that's a guide for you to know that you are doing the import right. So that's it. This is the way to implement the import using Google Sheets and then importing the data to Looker Studio. My least favorite alternative, just doing the process manually directly on the Facebook Ads Manager. I'm going to show you how. Basically, you have a default table in your Ads Manager, but you can customize it here. So basically, if you add different columns, you can include this on your export. So let's say I added all of these metrics, and then I'm going to apply this. Here you can see all the new tables. And then you can also select a custom date range, right? So you select this, and then you just click export table data, and you select export as an Excel, and basically this will give you a file, right? You will click export, you will export your table data, and then you will have something like this, right? You will have different columns for to connect to Looker Studio. This is important. This is the exact structure you need to have to being able to connect this to Looker Studio, because you need to have a unique column for each metric or dimension you want to measure. Also, another recommendation, if you export a Excel file and import it into Sheets, you need to convert that file into a Google Sheet file, okay? So that you can do that here on File. If it's a Excel file, you will find an option that will allow you to transform it into a Google Sheet file, and then that Google Sheet file can be connected to Looker Studio, as we saw in the previous step of connecting your Google Sheets data to Looker Studio. So now you have three different alternatives you can apply to connect your Facebook Ads data to Looker Studio. You know the different alternatives to connect Facebook Ads to Looker Studio. Now, let's see a recap so you can choose the better for you. Remember, the first one is connecting Facebook Ads to Looker Studio directly using a third-party connector. This is my favorite option because it's very scalable, because you can connect different accounts very easily and fast and bring all the historical data and all the fields, including custom conversions, and add images without doing any effort on your part. So that's very good. You can templatize the reports and then change the accounts to have the same structure but with different accounts. You can also integrate multiple data sources in a single report, but you can do that with any alternative. And also, the downside of this option, it will be like if the integration breaks, your report will break, or if you leave, I don't know, the third party connector, you could reconnect your report with a different one, but that would mean you could lose historical data if you, I don't know, you have been a long time with a specific third party integration. So that will be something that you have to choose very wisely. Combining with multiple data sources within Looker Studio can be complicated. So if you want to create really custom and difficult metrics, it's maybe better do it all the import in Google Sheets, doing the custom calculations and then importing that into Looker Studio. So the second alternative is precisely that, connecting your data, importing your data to Google Sheets automatically and integrating that with Looker Studio. This is great because different reasons. You have faster load sometimes because you have your data stored in a Google Sheet, and that loads very fast because the native integration of Looker Studio with Google Sheets. Your reports will never break because they are connected to Google Sheets. The data importing process is automated if you do it with an extension that makes the process faster. And you can combine data sources and create custom fields very easily in Google Sheets because you know how to do it. And the downside of this option is that you have an additional step in the middle. So it might be more time consuming. If you want to add an additional field, like a new column, you have to add it to the query in terms of the extension and import the historical data again, so you can have the historical data of that specific field you added. So it's not so big the downside, but you have to take that into account. And the last option, the worst one, is to manually downloading the data from Facebook and connecting that with Looker Studio. The good the good side of this alternative is that it's free and you'll have better visuals on Looker Studio than you would have like in a PowerPoint, for instance. But the downside of this option is basically you're wasting a lot of time. If you're an agency, if you have a lot of clients, this will be very time consuming. And also, it's very hard to get the ad creatives. So basically, you couldn't do an ad creative analysis with this alternative. So you know the different alternatives, you know the upside and downside of each one, so you can choose now which one to apply. If you want to use Podometrics, look for the links in the description. If you want to use Podometrics to do all this process for you, you can find the links here in the description. So let's see. If you want to use Podometrics to import all your Facebook data into Looker Studio or Sheets, remember that links are in the description and we have a lot of tutorials about Looker Studio and Google Sheets you can check. Bye.